If a woman truly desires you, she gives her body willingly, not reluctantly. Let's be real, folks. Most men are stuck in confusion because they're listening to words instead of watching behavior. She says she loves you. She says she cares. But intimacy feels forced, inconsistent, or like it comes with conditions. You're left wondering if she actually wants you, or if you're just the safe option she settled for. And that question eats at a man's confidence. Here's the hard truth. Women don't perform desire for the men they love. They express it, naturally, quietly, often without realizing it themselves. Love shows up in how she treats your presence, your weakness, your reputation, and your peace. Not in what she promises, but in what she consistently does when no one's keeping score. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to help you see clearly. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact behaviors women show only for the men they truly love and are emotionally bonded to. These are not romantic gestures. These are instinctive actions tied to attraction, loyalty, and sexual safety. Once you understand them, you'll stop guessing, stop chasing validation, and finally know where you stand. Stick with me, folks. By the end of this, you won't confuse tolerance with desire ever again. Let's get into it. Number 1. She takes care of you quietly. Let's be honest, folks. This is one of the clearest signs of real love, and it's also the one most men overlook. When a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't announce it. She doesn't perform it for attention. She shows it quietly, consistently, and without asking for credit. Most men expect care to look loud. Big gestures, public affection, constant praise. That's not how genuine emotional investment works. Real care shows up in the background when it's inconvenient, when no one is watching, and when she gains nothing from doing it. Let's ground this in something real. Take a man named Robert, 57. He's disciplined, steady, works long hours, and rarely complains. His wife, Michelle, 53, doesn't make a show of affection. She isn't overly emotional or dramatic, but she notices everything. When Robert has an early meeting, she adjusts her schedule so coffee is ready. When he's quiet after a stressful day, she doesn't interrogate him. She creates calm space. When he's sick, she handles the details without being asked. None of this is loud. None of it is posted online. But it's constant. That's not obligation. That's attachment. Here's the psychological truth, my friend. Women don't invest energy like this in men they feel neutral about. Quiet care requires attention. Attention requires emotional focus. Emotional focus only exists when she's bonded. Now compare that to placeholder behavior. A woman who likes you but doesn't love you will care when it's easy, when it fits her routine, when it benefits her image. She won't disrupt her day. She won't adjust her rhythm. She won't carry emotional weight quietly. Michelle does those things because Robert matters to her internal world, not because she's trying to earn approval. Let's be real here. This kind of care is not mothering. It's not control. It's not submission. It's instinctive nurturing, directed at a man she respects and feels safe with. Now another example. A man named Daniel, 49, dating again after divorce, is seeing a woman named Laura, 46. Early on, Laura doesn't overwhelm him with affection, but Daniel notices small things. She checks if he got home safely without making it a big deal. She remembers details he mentioned weeks ago. When he's overwhelmed, she simplifies the environment instead of adding to the noise. That's not coincidence. That's care rooted in attachment. Here's where most men mess this up. They dismiss quiet care because it doesn't feed the ego. They chase louder signals instead. Compliments, sexual availability, public validation. Those things feel good, but they're not reliable indicators of love. Stoic wisdom applies here. Judge by actions, not words. Patterns, not moments. When a woman loves you, she protects your energy. She reduces friction in your life. She doesn't drain you. She doesn't test you constantly. She contributes to your stability without asking for praise. And here's the important part, folks. This care is voluntary. The moment it becomes expected, demanded, or unnoticed, it dries up. Quiet care exists only when it's appreciated without being consumed. So, ask yourself this honestly. Does she make your life calmer in small, consistent ways when she doesn't have to? That answer tells you more than any declaration ever will. If you've seen this before, write this in the comments. I noticed the signs. Don't go anywhere. The next sign separates real love from emotional convenience, and most men miss it completely. Number 2. She defends you when you're absent. Let's be very clear, folks. This sign separates real love from convenient affection. Anyone can smile at you, flirt with you, or say the right thing when you're present. The real test is what happens when you're not there to influence the room. A woman who truly loves you protects your name in your absence. Not with drama, not by starting fights, but by drawing a quiet line that says, "Not him." She won't join in when friends mock you. She won't laugh at disrespect to fit in. She won't let strangers reduce you to a punchline. That kind of loyalty costs something, and people don't pay that price for a man they feel neutral about. Here's the Stoic lens, my friend. Marcus Aurelius wrote that character is revealed by what we do when no one is applauding. Defending you when you're absent is exactly that. It brings her no reward, no attention, no credit. It is private loyalty. And private loyalty is the only kind that matters. You might never witness it directly. It may happen over dinner with friends, in a group chat, or in a casual conversation where someone tests the waters. But you will feel the results. People treat you with respect around her. Stories about you stay clean. The tone stays honorable. That doesn't happen by accident. Sometimes you'll notice it through small social signals. Her friends don't feel comfortable crossing lines with you. Family members don't speak down to you around her. Even when you've had a rough week, she doesn't portray you as incompetent or weak to get sympathy. Instead, she protects your dignity. She might say, "He's been under pressure, but he's handling it." That is loyalty with restraint. Now, let's be honest. If she is indifferent, she stays silent. If she is unsure, she avoids taking a side. If she is keeping options open, she lets negative narratives float because it benefits her to stay flexible. Silence in that moment is not neutrality. It's distance. Love makes your reputation personal. When she's emotionally bonded, your wins feel like her stability, and attacks on you feel like an attack on what she chose, so she corrects the record. Sometimes it's direct, like, "That's not true." Sometimes it's calm, like, "I don't see him that way." Sometimes it's a simple exit from the conversation. Different style, same message. And no, this doesn't mean she worships you. A woman can challenge you privately and still defend you publicly. That's maturity. Correction happens in private. Protection happens in public. If she embarrasses you in front of others, that's not honesty. That's disrespect. Stoicism also teaches standards. Epictetus warned that if you want to be respected, you must respect yourself. Part of self-respect is noticing what she tolerates about you when you're not around, because what she tolerates becomes your reputation. So, watch the pattern, not one moment. Does she protect your name consistently? Does she keep outsiders from disrespecting the bond? Does she speak about you with honor when there is no benefit to her? That is love in action. And if she slips, she corrects it fast because she cares about how the world sees you. If you've seen this, drop a comment. I demand respect. Stay tuned. The next sign shows love before she ever says it. Number 3. She becomes emotionally exclusive early. Let's be direct, folks, because this sign clears up more confusion than almost anything else. When a woman truly loves a man, emotional exclusivity often shows up before any official label does. Not because you demanded it, not because she was scared into it. It happens naturally, quietly, and usually without a big announcement. Most men think exclusivity begins with a conversation, the talk, the title, the agreement. But real life starts with behavior. Actions move first. Words follow later. Here's what emotional exclusivity looks like in the real world. She stops feeding other connections that used to take up emotional space. She may still be friendly, polite, and social, but the emotional doorway closes. She stops flirting for fun. She stops entertaining attention for validation. She stops keeping little escape routes open. Her attention becomes focused, not scattered. Take a man named Kevin, 52, steady, confident, back in the dating world after a long marriage. He meets Angela, 48, warm, social, and independent. Early on, Angela is active socially and has male friends. Nothing wrong with that. But as her connection with Kevin deepens, Kevin notices patterns shifting without him saying a word. She's more present when they're together. Her phone stays face down more often. She doesn't bring up other men trying to get her attention. She starts turning down plans that would normally pull her away from their time. She becomes quieter online. Not because she's hiding, but because she's not advertising. She's protecting the bond as it forms. That's emotional exclusivity. Now compare that to placeholder behavior. A woman who likes you but isn't emotionally bonded keeps her doors open. She might enjoy you, but she still seeks emotional stimulation elsewhere. She still keeps options alive just in case. That's not always evil. It's uncertainty. Love is different. Love simplifies. Another example. Thomas, 47, is seeing Rachel, 45. Early on, Rachel casually mentions messages she gets, invites attention, and little social dramas. Over time, those stories fade. Not because her life disappeared, because those things stopped mattering. Her emotional world narrowed in a good way. It centered. Here's the Stoic angle, my friend. Marcus Aurelius said, "Where a man's mind is, there is his treasure." When her mind starts returning to you, when her attention keeps choosing you, even without rules, that's treasure. That's investment. And investment is love in motion. This is also why men ruin this stage by pushing too hard. They sense the shift and try to lock it down. They demand labels, reassurance, constant proof. That pressure can interrupt what was forming naturally. Epictetus taught that we suffer when we try to control what isn't ours to control. Her pacing is not yours to control. Your job is to watch the pattern and stay steady. Emotional exclusivity also shows up in small future assumptions, not big romantic speeches. Little statements like, "We should try that place next weekend," or "You'd like my friends," or "I'll save that show for when we're together." Those are quiet signs she's already organizing her world around you. So be honest with yourself, folks. Has her emotional energy narrowed toward you without being demanded? Has she stopped shopping for attention and started investing in connection? If yes, don't fumble it by chasing proof. Hold your frame. Let actions keep speaking. If you've noticed this shift before, write this in the comments. I saw the shift. Stick with me. Most men miss the next sign because they're still obsessed with words instead of patterns. Number 4. She adjusts her world to yours. Let's be precise here, folks, because this sign gets misunderstood all the time. When a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't erase herself to fit him. She aligns. Alignment is voluntary. Control is forced. Love shows up as alignment. Most men think love means sacrifice in a dramatic sense. Big compromises, loud declarations. That's not how it works in real life. Real love shows up in subtle adjustments. Schedules shift, Priorities reorganize. Attention gets reallocated, and none of it feels resentful. Here's the core truth, my friend. A woman does not reorganize her life for a man she feels uncertain about. She only adjusts her world when she feels emotionally secure and sexually bonded. This alignment often shows up quietly. She becomes more mindful of your routines. She times things to match your rhythm. She respects your work, your recovery time, your need for focus. Not because you demanded it, but because your stability matters to her. From a Stoic perspective, this makes perfect sense. Marcus Aurelius wrote that harmony is created when each part moves according to its nature while respecting the whole. When she adjusts her world to yours, she's not submitting. She's harmonizing. Notice what this alignment is not. It's not control. She's not managing you. She's not shrinking herself. She's choosing to move with you instead of against you. That choice is love in action. Men often miss this because they're looking for proof in words. She doesn't say, "I'm changing my life for you." She just does it. She makes space. She protects your momentum. She stops creating unnecessary friction. Now, let's be honest. A woman who doesn't love you will resist alignment. She may enjoy you, but she guards her independence aggressively. She keeps her world rigid. She doesn't integrate. She doesn't adapt. She treats your life as separate, not connected. Love blends without consuming. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from choosing alignment, not from resisting connection. When a woman willingly aligns, it means she doesn't experience you as a threat to her autonomy. She experiences you as an extension of stability. This alignment also shows up socially. She introduces you naturally into her circles. She considers your reputation alongside her own. She doesn't compartmentalize you. Compartmentalization is a sign of uncertainty. Integration is a sign of commitment. Here's where men mess this up. They confuse alignment with entitlement. The moment you expect it, demand it, or test it, it stops being love and turns into obligation. Stoicism warns against attachment to outcomes. Let alignment reveal itself without pressure. Another key point, folks. This adjustment is not one-sided. Healthy alignment flows both ways. But when a woman loves deeply, she often initiates it first. That initiation tells you everything you need to know. Watch her patterns. Does she naturally coordinate? Does she consider your world when making decisions? Does she reduce chaos instead of adding to it? Those answers matter more than any romantic speech. If you want to learn how to recognize alignment early and respond without killing it, this is exactly what we break down inside the members area. We go deeper into Stoic discipline, masculine leadership, and relationship dynamics most men were never taught. Consider becoming a channel member if you want clarity instead of guesswork. Here's the takeaway, my friend. Love doesn't demand space in your life. It makes space willingly. If this resonates, write this in the comments. I see alignment. Stay tuned. The next sign reveals how love responds when you show your darker side. Number 5. She stays when you show weakness. Let's talk about this carefully, folks, because this sign separates fantasy from reality fast. Attraction can survive strength. Love survives weakness. When a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't disappear the moment she sees his cracks. She stays present when his armor comes off. Most men are taught to believe that showing weakness kills desire. That fear keeps them locked behind performance. Always strong, always composed, always fine. But real love isn't built on a highlight reel. It's built on what happens when things aren't impressive. Let's ground this with something real. Take a man named Paul, 59, disciplined, reliable, the type who's always been the steady one. His partner Diane, 54, has seen him succeed for years. One evening, after a difficult stretch at work and a health scare, Paul finally admits he's exhausted. Not dramatic, not collapsing, just honest. He says he doesn't have all the answers right now. Diane doesn't recoil. She doesn't lose respect. She doesn't pull away emotionally. She listens. She stays. She doesn't try to fix him or make it about herself. She simply remains present. That reaction tells you everything. Now compare that to a man named Scott, 48, dating again after divorce. He opens up early to a woman named Melissa, 45, about his struggles rebuilding his life. He isn't dumping emotions, he's being real. Melissa becomes distant afterward, less engaged, less warm. That's information. It doesn't make her evil. It means love wasn't there yet. Here's the difference, my friend. Love can hold weight. Attraction alone cannot. A woman who loves you doesn't weaponize your vulnerability later. She doesn't store it as leverage. She doesn't bring it up to win arguments. She doesn't lose desire because you had a human moment. She sees your weakness as context, not as definition. This is where many men get confused. Showing weakness is not the same as losing your center. Stoic discipline matters here. Marcus Aurelius wrote that strength is remaining yourself under pressure. Paul didn't collapse. He stayed grounded while being honest. That's why Diane stayed. Love responds to authenticity paired with stability. A woman who only wants the image of you will leave when the image cracks. A woman who loves you is invested in the man behind the image. She understands that resilience includes recovery. Another example. James, 51, married for decades, goes through a period of self-doubt after losing a close friend. He doesn't shut down completely, but he lets his wife Karen, 49, see that he's struggling. Karen doesn't mock him. She doesn't grow cold. She adjusts. She supports quietly. That quiet support deepens intimacy more than confidence ever could. Here's the truth, folks. Anyone can enjoy you when you're winning. Love reveals itself when you're not at your best. This doesn't mean oversharing or emotional chaos. Weakness shown without self-control is burden. Weakness shown with honesty and restraint is trust. Ask yourself this: when you showed a human moment, did she lean in or lean out? That answer cuts through years of confusion. If you've seen this before, write this in the comments. I stayed real. Don't go anywhere. The next sign reveals how love invests when no one is keeping score. Number 6. She prioritizes your peace over attention. Let's talk plainly, folks, because this sign shows maturity most men underestimate. When a woman truly loves you, she stops competing for your attention and starts protecting your peace. That shift is quiet, but it's decisive. Attention wants to be seen. Love wants stability. Most men confuse attention with care. Constant texting, emotional spikes, little dramas that keep energy high. That kind of stimulation can feel exciting, but it doesn't last. Love shows up differently. Love removes friction. Love reduces noise. Love notices when your nervous system needs calm more than stimulation. Here's the distinction that matters, my friend. A woman who loves attention prioritizes how she feels in the moment. A woman who loves you prioritizes how you function over time. She becomes aware of what unsettles you and chooses not to press those buttons. Not because she's walking on eggshells, but because she respects your inner order. From a Stoic lens, this is alignment with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote that tranquility comes from ordering one's life according to nature and reason. When she values your peace, she's respecting that order. She isn't trying to provoke, test, or pull energy from you to feel validated. You'll see this in how she communicates. She doesn't manufacture urgency. She doesn't demand instant responses. She doesn't turn small misunderstandings into emotional events. She chooses timing. She chooses tone. She understands that calm is a resource worth protecting. This matters more than romance. Peace is the foundation that allows desire to stay alive. When a man is constantly pulled into emotional management, attraction erodes. When a man is supported in his calm, attraction has room to breathe. Epictetus taught that freedom is found in mastering what we give our attention to. A woman who loves you doesn't hijack your focus for reassurance. She trusts the bond enough to let you stay centered. That trust is not passive. It's intentional restraint. Now be careful not to misread this. Prioritizing your peace does not mean suppressing her needs. It means choosing the right moment and the right approach. She still speaks up. She still expresses desire. She just doesn't do it in ways that destabilize you. That's emotional intelligence. Contrast this with conditional affection. When attention is the currency, peace becomes irrelevant. Drama increases. Calm is punished. Stability is mistaken for distance. That pattern feeds anxiety, not love. Seneca warned that excess weakens the soul. In relationships, excess emotion without discipline creates chaos. A woman who loves you understands moderation. She doesn't need constant reassurance because she's anchored. And anchoring is attractive. This sign often appears after time together. Early infatuation seeks attention. Mature love protects peace. That transition tells you something important about where her feelings have landed. Here's the test you can run without saying a word. When you're under pressure, does she add weight or remove it? Does she escalate or stabilize? Does she make space for recovery or demand presence? The answers reveal everything. One more thing, folks. This kind of love doesn't announce itself. It doesn't post receipts. It doesn't ask for applause. It simply makes your life quieter, steadier, and more focused. That's not boring. That's powerful. If this resonates, write this in the comments. I protect my peace. Stay tuned. The next sign shows how real love invests without keeping score. Number 7. She invests without being asked. Let's be real, folks. This sign is one of the cleanest indicators of real love because it happens without prompting. When a woman truly loves a man, she invests before being requested. Not because she feels obligated, not because she's trying to secure something. She does it because her emotional orientation has already shifted toward you. Most men think investment shows up after conversations, agreements, or expectations are set. That's backwards. Real investment shows up first quietly, before any structure is built around it. And when it's genuine, it never feels forced. Let's put this into a real situation. Take a man named Andrew, 54, focused, disciplined, running his own business. He values his time and keeps his life structured. He starts seeing a woman named Nicole, 49, independent, warm, and emotionally intelligent. Early on, Andrew never asks for help, support, or accommodation. He doesn't hint. He doesn't complain. But Nicole starts doing small things on her own. She checks his schedule before suggesting plans. She brings something thoughtful without being asked. She notices when he's under pressure and adjusts her energy to match. She offers support without making it transactional. None of this is dramatic. None of it is announced. That's investment. Here's the key, my friend. A woman does not invest like this unless she sees long-term value. Investment costs energy, attention, and emotional bandwidth. People protect those resources unless something matters. Now contrast that with a man named Brian, 46, dating casually. The woman he's seeing enjoys his company, but everything feels equal effort or less. She waits to be asked. She contributes only when it benefits her directly. She doesn't anticipate. She doesn't initiate investment. That doesn't mean she's a bad person. It means emotional commitment hasn't formed. Investment without being asked is proactive attachment. Nicole isn't trying to earn Andrew. She's already chosen him internally. That's why her behavior shifts. She invests because she wants the bond to be stable, not because she's afraid of losing him. This is where many men get it wrong. They confuse investment with people-pleasing. They think if a woman invests, she must be sacrificing herself. That's not love. That's insecurity. Real investment comes from abundance, not fear. Andrew doesn't react to Nicole's investment by demanding more. He doesn't test it. He doesn't exploit it. He appreciates it calmly and continues leading his life with discipline. That response reinforces her choice instead of draining it. Another example. A man named Stephen, 51, remarried later in life, notices his wife Laura, 48, taking on responsibilities she was never asked to handle. She organizes things quietly. She supports his goals without competing with them. She invests time and care without keeping score. That's not obligation. That's alignment. Here's the deeper truth, folks. When a woman loves you, she stops negotiating investment. She just does it. There's no scoreboard, no reminder, no expectation of return in that moment. This kind of investment also shows up emotionally. She listens deeply without being prompted. She remembers what matters to you. She holds space for your stress without demanding reassurance. That emotional labor is costly, and it's voluntary. Pay attention to this pattern. Does she step forward without being asked? Does she anticipate instead of react? Does she contribute to stability instead of consuming it? Those answers tell you where you stand. If you've experienced this before, write this in the comments. I see the investment. Let's keep going. The next sign reveals how love protects itself from the outside world when it becomes real. Number 8. She protects the bond from outsiders. Let's slow this down, folks, because this sign is subtle and powerful at the same time. When a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't just feel connected to him. She guards the connection. She protects the bond from outside influence, interference, and contamination. And she does it instinctively, not because you asked her to. Most men assume love is something that exists only between two people. In reality, love is also about boundaries. Who gets access? Who gets information? Who gets influence? When a woman loves you, she becomes selective about all three. Here's the key truth, my friend. A woman who is emotionally bonded to you will not allow outsiders to weaken what she feels. That includes friends, family, co-workers, exes, and social noise. She doesn't let other people's opinions shape how she sees you. She doesn't invite unnecessary commentary into the relationship. From a Stoic perspective, this is discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we must guard the gates of the mind, because what we allow in shapes our inner world. When she protects the bond, she is guarding her emotional gates. You matter enough for her to do that work. This protection shows up in quiet ways. She doesn't overshare your private struggles with friends. She doesn't seek validation about you from people who don't respect you. She doesn't allow others to casually criticize or undermine the relationship. She may listen politely, but she doesn't absorb it. Contrast this with a woman who is unsure. She invites outside opinions constantly. She crowdsources her feelings. She allows friends to influence how she interprets normal conflict. She lets doubt spread because she hasn't anchored emotionally yet. Protection only happens when something feels worth protecting. Here's another important distinction. Protecting the bond does not mean isolation. It means discernment. She still has relationships. She still has her world. But she knows what stays inside the relationship and what stays outside. That boundary is maturity. Stoicism emphasizes self-containment. Epictetus taught that not every thought deserves your attention. In the same way, not every outside voice deserves access to the relationship. A woman in love understands that instinctively. She filters. This also shows up with other men. She doesn't flirt for fun. She doesn't entertain emotional closeness elsewhere. She doesn't create ambiguity that threatens the bond. Not because she's afraid, but because she's committed internally. Most men miss this sign because it doesn't come with a speech. She doesn't say, "I'm protecting us." She just does it. The relationship feels quieter, less influenced, less reactive. That calm is not boredom, it's stability. Now, here's where men mess this up. They mistake protection for control and try to enforce boundaries themselves. That kills attraction. Protection only works when it's voluntary. The moment you demand it, it turns into obligation instead of love. Seneca warned that true loyalty cannot be forced. It reveals itself through choice. A woman who loves you chooses the bond over noise without being asked. Pay attention to how she handles outside pressure. When someone questions you, does she defend or defer? When someone gives advice, does she absorb or filter? When someone disrespects the relationship, does she tolerate or shut it down calmly? Those patterns tell you everything. Here's the takeaway, folks. Love doesn't just connect. It protects. When a woman shields the bond from outsiders, she's telling you the relationship is part of her identity now. If this resonates, write this in the comments. I value boundaries. Stay with me. The next sign reveals how love shows up in the smallest moments where most men stop looking. Number 9. She chooses you in small moments. Let's slow this down, folks, because this sign is easy to miss if you're only looking for big gestures. Real love doesn't live in dramatic moments. It lives in small decisions made quietly again and again. When a woman truly loves a man, she chooses him in moments that seem insignificant on the surface. Most men look for proof in grand actions, big sacrifices, loud declarations, sexual intensity. But love reveals itself in ordinary choices, especially when there's no reward for making them. Let's make this concrete. Take a man named Henry, 56, calm, disciplined, and consistent. He's been married for years. His wife, Patricia, 53, has a full life of her own. One evening, Patricia has the option to stay out longer with friends or come home early. There's no argument, no guilt, no expectation. She simply chooses to come home because she knows Henry had a long day and values quiet time together. She doesn't announce it. She doesn't expect praise. She just shows up. That's a small moment, and it means everything. Now another example. A man named Victor, 49, dating again after divorce, notices something with a woman named Elaine, 47. When plans change last minute, Elaine doesn't create drama. When Victor needs to focus on work, she doesn't compete for attention. When there's a choice between convenience and consideration, she consistently chooses consideration. None of these moments look romantic in a movie, but they're deeply revealing in real life. Here's the psychological truth, my friend. Love expresses itself through prioritization, and prioritization shows up most clearly when no one is watching and nothing is at stake. A woman who loves you naturally considers your presence, your energy, and your needs when making everyday decisions. Contrast this with uncertainty. A woman who is unsure may choose what feels best in the moment every time. She doesn't factor you in consistently. She doesn't pause. She doesn't adjust. That's not cruelty. It's lack of emotional investment. Small choices reveal big truths. Henry doesn't track Patricia's decisions. He doesn't test her. He simply notices patterns. And the pattern is clear. When it's easy to choose herself, she often still chooses him. That's love without performance. Another detail most men miss. These choices are not about sacrifice. They're about alignment. Patricia doesn't feel deprived by choosing Henry. It feels natural. When love is real, choosing the relationship feels like choosing yourself. Victor experiences the same thing with Elaine. Over time, he realizes he's not competing with distractions. He's being included in her default decisions. That inclusion builds trust and sexual safety without words. Here's where men go wrong. They demand to be chosen instead of observing whether they already are. Demands create resistance. Observation creates clarity. So, ask yourself this honestly. In small, forgettable moments, does she consistently lean toward you? Not perfectly, not every time, but as a pattern. That pattern is the truth. If you've noticed this before, write this in the comments. I see the pattern. Don't go anywhere. The final sign ties all of this together in a way most men never consider. Number 10. She loves you without needing proof. Let's finish this cleanly, folks, because this is the deepest sign of all. When a woman truly loves you, she stops asking you to prove it. She doesn't test your loyalty. She doesn't fish for reassurance. She doesn't create situations to see how you'll react. Love, at this stage, has settled into trust. Most men live under constant evaluation. Did I text enough? Did I show up right? Did I do something wrong? Those questions exist only when love hasn't fully landed yet. Once it does, the need for proof fades. Here's the truth, my friend. Love that needs constant evidence isn't love. It's insecurity. Real love rests. It doesn't pace back and forth looking for confirmation. When a woman loves you without needing proof, she believes in the bond even when things are quiet. She doesn't interpret silence as danger. She doesn't see your focus as neglect. She doesn't read every change in mood as a threat. She gives the relationship room to breathe. This doesn't mean she stops caring. It means she stops doubting. Let's look at what this feels like in real life. A man named George, 60, has been married for years. His wife Linda, 57, no longer asks where he is every hour. She doesn't question his friendships. She doesn't require constant emotional check-ins to feel secure. Not because she's detached, but because she's anchored. She trusts the man she chose. That trust creates a different kind of intimacy. One without anxiety, one without performance. Now, contrast that with conditional attachment. A woman who hasn't fully bonded still needs proof. She needs reminders. She needs demonstrations. She needs reassurance cycles. That's not because she's manipulative. It's because her nervous system hasn't settled yet. Love hasn't reached its resting point. Here's the Stoic perspective that ties this together. Epictetus taught that peace comes from trusting what we've chosen and not revisiting the decision every day. When a woman loves you without needing proof, she's made an internal decision and stopped relitigating it. That decision changes everything. She no longer keeps score. She no longer tests boundaries. She no longer measures effort minute by minute. She trusts your character instead of monitoring your behavior. And that trust deepens desire. Why? Because desire collapses under surveillance. When a man feels constantly evaluated, he tightens up. When he feels trusted, he relaxes into himself. That relaxed confidence is attractive. This kind of love also shows up in conflict. She doesn't threaten the relationship to win an argument. She doesn't question your commitment every time you disagree. She argues within the bond, not against it. That's maturity. Most men never experience this because they never hold their frame long enough. They chase reassurance instead of becoming reliable. They seek proof instead of embodying consistency. Here's the final truth, folks. When a woman loves you without needing proof, it's because your actions over time made trust unnecessary to negotiate. You became predictable in the right way. Stable, grounded, honest. That's not boring. That's rare. And when you reach this point, love stops feeling like something you have to earn every day. It starts feeling like something you live inside. All right, folks, let's bring this to a close. Today we broke down the real behaviors women show only for the men they truly love. Not words, not promises, actions, quiet, care, loyalty in absence, emotional exclusivity, alignment, staying through weakness, protecting your peace, investing without being asked, guarding the bond, choosing you in small moments, and loving you without needing proof. If you understand these signs, you stop guessing and start seeing relationships clearly. If you want to go deeper and learn how to embody the kind of man these behaviors respond to, consider becoming a channel member. That's where we break this down with more clarity and real-world application. And if this perspective helps you see women and relationships more honestly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you again soon.